The prophetic witness of the South African Council of Churches did not mean, of course, that member churches took up its causes and concerns with great enthusiasm, nor did it mean that prophetic witness resulted in educating and influencing church congregations. This remains an ongoing problem for all churches, Anglican, Protestant and Catholic, I think in most countries of the world. The passage from the prophetic to evangelization, education and community action. The Catholic Church at this time got involved in a concern that had a fairly dramatic consequence for me. We went to Namibia, came back and published a report. And a year later at a press conference, I mentioned a few more atrocities due to Kufut, the anti-insurgency unit in Namibia. I was accused of defaming, of slandering Kufut, which would have been a record achievement for all time. So the charge was laid and I had to prepare to defend myself, including support at the highest level of legal expertise. That was rather costly, but funding organizations came to my help. And in the end, the government withdrew the charges 3 days before the hearing. At least I had the satisfaction of standing in the dock, of being in the dock, and hearing the prosecutor make that formal withdrawal. In 1986, the Southern African Catholic Bishops' Conference took up the issue of sanctions, as did the Anglican Church about the same time. I'm afraid that neither of us came to a very convincing conclusion. We were for sanctions, but advocated moderation in case the whole economy collapsed. Those 3 days of debate were among the hardest in my experience. The necessity for sanctions to achieve results, the effect of sanctions on people losing their employment. We bishops were not likely to lose our employment, but how many hundreds of thousands others could have. So between the two, we found it hard to come to a very clear decision. Things move rapidly now. Mr. F.W. de Klerk became leader of the National Party in the first half of 1989 and proved himself more accommodating than his predecessor, Mr. P.W. Botha. That wasn't very difficult. It was at this time that a convention of church representatives decided on a program of protest and publicity under the title Standing for the Truth. It provided us with a lot of exercise, much marching and demonstrating. If I remember rightly, our brothers and sisters in Cape Town, just prior to this, had enjoyed the additional benefit of water cannon and a stay in detention. This brought about very quickly the end of apartheid. It dawned on the 9th of November 1989 when the Berlin Wall came down, which happened also to be my birthday. Then followed the events of February 1990, which we all remember so well. Then the 4 years of negotiations culminating in the elections of April 1994 and the great celebration of the 10th of May 1994, the installation of President Mandela and his government. It was a great privilege to be in the crowd of the Union buildings that participated in the joy of that great event and to hear ANC supporters looking up and saying, "There goes our Air Force." Between these dates, there was quite a flurry of church activity, including the Rustenburg Conference of Churches. The president of our bishops' conference, Archbishop Napier, became the chairperson of the National Church Leaders Forum and served with distinction on the National Peace Accord of 1990 and 1991. So with the Catholic Church now so deeply involved in ecumenical activities, the logical conclusion had to be an application through the conference for the Catholic Church to be admitted to the South African Council of Churches, and a vote of acceptance to standing applause. The matter of our voting for the application was for me a case of third time lucky. I've been on the losing side on 2 previous occasions. A great challenge remains for all involved in ecumenical activity. A few weeks ago, in these same surroundings, we heard the pressing call of Archbishop Jongwankulu Dungani of Cape Town on the poverty issue. And just last week, there was a conference of the Justice and Peace Commission of the Catholic Bishops' Conference on economic justice. These related themes seem to indicate the direction which our future ecumenical efforts must be extended to. It could so easily happen that millions of our people could find themselves excluded through poverty from the fruits of victory over apartheid and the establishment of democracy. To avoid this unhappy future, may God give us the guidance and grace to strive together ecumenically and beyond the ecumenical boundaries, to strive together on an interfaith basis for the achievement of greater prosperity, greater human rights, more and better human life for all those now so sadly deprived. I thank you for your patience and ask you for your prayers for that better future for our country.